Okay. I don't know if you guys can see me here. Trying to fix this. There it is. There we go. Sorry about that, you guys. All right. Hey, you guys. It is me, Donovan Sadiq, the Inland Empire Informer. I am sorry if you are getting some feedback. It's something that's going on with this thing. I don't know what it is. But hey, you guys. I'm Donovan Sadiq, the Inland Empire Informer, and I am here to inform you what has been going on in the Inland Empire recently. If you guys have not been paying attention, I was involved in a lawsuit because I was assaulted at a public event. At a public event, I was assaulted. And at that assault, I took matters to where they're supposed to be taken, and I went to court to get redress because, I was injured. I basically was injured at the event. And now that the court case is over, and by the way, I did win. By the way, I won. And so I'm going to be putting up a few videos, and I'm going to be doing a few shows talking about the case and I'm going to be putting up documents. And I'm going to be talking about the case in regards to what happened to me. And I want you guys to know what actually went down. So let's get into it a little bit. My name is Donovan Sadiq. I'm the Inland Empire Informer. This is case number SCMV2200278. Case name is Sadiq. That is my legal name versus Fleming. Okay. All right. So basically what happened, we get there to the event and the witnesses show up. I had the same two witnesses I had previously when the case was continued. We get there. I'm a little early this time because I didn't fly in from overseas just to get to the event. And my witnesses were there. I don't want to bore you guys with too much were there, but the opposition had, I think, 10 to 11 people. I do not know what they were going to testify to or what they were going to testify of, because I knew I had video. And the funny thing is, when we went into discovery, and for those of you guys that don't know what discovery is, in illegal cases, you can't surprise the opposition, your opponent, with things that they don't know. So it isn't like Matlock or what's that other guy? He's really popular. These shows that they just spring stuff on them and it's the big surprise. You can't do that in real life. You got to show them everything that you have so that they're aware of it and they could make a case against it, I guess, or whatever. So during discovery, I show them everything that I have. And there's basically there's three cases, but they consolidated the three cases. There's a case against LaDonna Jimson. As you guys know, LaDonna Jimson recently took part in a coup, and we had her removed from city council seat. The Women's Club, which is the organization that hosted the event that they claim was private, and the other one was against a person named Denise Fleming. Now, Denise Fleming is a failed candidate here in Moreno Valley. She doesn't live in the city anymore, thank God, and hopefully we will see the last of her. But she's the president of the club. So I go to LaDonna. I think I'm a reasonable person. I really do believe I'm a reasonable person. And so I show her my discovery. She didn't really have anything to show me because their evidence was my evidence. And I had my laptop. I had made a PowerPoint. I talked to some legal folks and some people that basically know law. And, I was ready to go no matter what. But, I was hoping that they would be smart enough and just settle the case and go about their business. So me and LaDonna talked. And LaDonna's stance is she refuses to apologize because the only reason I roped LaDonna Jimson into it is because she aided and abetted Denise Fleming, who was the one that assaulted me. So, I'm going to get them all, do everything I possibly can. So she says she refuses to apologize. I went up to her and I just said, look, you could end this for yourself by just giving me an apology. You know, this woman is 60. I believe LaDonna is in her 60s. Okay, fairly nice looking lady. You could tell she's still a very attractive woman in her older age. And she just refused. She stood on it like a rock. And I got to respect that. If that's what you're going to do, that's what you're going to do. She felt that an apology would be an admission of guilt. All right. Damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead as far as we're going to go. So, we're sitting there doing our thing, and we started talking about, because they recently came off a vacation, and I recently came from overseas, and we were talking. We were talking. Like I said, I'm still an adult. I'm still a human being. I can talk with you. Do we have some differences? Absolutely. So, as we're sitting there, and it was like a little council meeting, because a lot of the people that showed up as witnesses were people at the event and people you see at city council meetings all the time. So, I'm sitting there, and Denise Fleming, who's the litigant, and she is the president of the club, so she's representing herself and the club. She comes out and, very condescending, tells me to come talk to her. Everybody in the lobby that was waiting, witnesses and everything, looked at her, then looked at me because of how she was talking to me. Like I didn't matter, like I'm a child or something, right? So I said, I just looked at her, I just shook my head, took a deep breath, because, let me see what they have to offer. So I go over, and myself, LaDonna goes in as well, because me and LaDonna have been conversing, and she's part of the case. And we go in. The first thing this hyena says to me, because when I go in, I say, okay, what do you have to offer? The first thing this hyena says to me is, first of all, you owe me an apology. I said, what? I owe you an apology? I was the one injured. How do I owe you an apology? I must apologize for you getting your gorilla hands on my equipment and me and my person? Are you serious? And I look at LaDonna, and I got to give it to LaDonna. She is fairly rational. I said, this is your girl, and I'm here to notify you. I'm going to countersue you. I said, countersue me for what? So it's evident at this point that we're not going to get anywhere. We go to mediation. That's not going anywhere either, right? So we finally get into court, and because I'm the plaintiff, I get to present my evidence. But we're close to lunch, and this commissioner, who's basically the presiding judge, he's an attorney by profession, he wants to go to lunch. So he's like, get to the meat and potatoes, And so I have all these videos, and I basically tell them what happened in layman's terms. I just put it real quick. I'm at this event, blah, blah, blah. I'm there to represent the press, blah, blah, blah. I've done it for them before. The public was invited. Here I am. I don't care I never saw their website. We're not friendly like that, so I don't even go to their website. As a matter of fact, I think I've been blocked from their website, so there's no way I would have seen it. I got word of the event by word of mouth. I'm at the event. This lady does she doesn't want me to record. I get notified that I'm not supposed to record, but see, I happen to know my rights. And here's one thing I'm going to tell everybody about certain things. You may know what you know, but other people know what they know, okay? So regardless if I broke their rule or they didn't want me to record, it's a private event, or no, that's wrong. It's a public event, but it's hosted by a nonprofit entity, and they have the right to ban people. So let me give you a better example of that. Disneyland is a private entity that is open to the public, for profit. But at Disneyland, they have rules posted that you must abide by. And if you don't abide by those rules, they can remove you from the park. That's why Disneyland has security there. At this event, they had a 73-year-old man that was the husband and spouse of Denise Fleming. So I'm at the event, there's no rules posted. I do what everybody else does. I sign in. LaDonna comes up to me and she says, Donovan, there's no recording. I don't speak to these people like that. And I know what I know. I know my rights. I might not know your rights, but one thing I damn sure know is my rights. So I just continue to record and set up and do what I'm doing and just ignore them. Then Denise Fleming comes over and she wants to assert herself. Now, I want you guys to understand, and some of you guys that know the history between Denise Fleming and myself, and things that have happened and things that she has done that I've exposed and people have seen at events. Our history is not good. But for some reason, this woman seems to always want to subjugate me under her rules and opinions because nobody else did anything. What can you do when somebody is not going to bow to your authority? You're not a police figure. That's one thing, you're not. A security guard is there to observe and report. Okay? So I'm telling the judge everything, and I said, she engaged in the Bain Act violation. She had her husband block my camera. LaDonna helped block my camera. And I said, in the video, you can see her coming toward me, and I'm doing everything I can to avoid her and just get out of the way and continue to record. The police were called. The police were weaponized on me. Fine. Okay. So they asked me basically tell me, Donovan, the police have been called. If you stay here, you're going to be arrested, whatever. I said, that's fine. Whatever. I'll wait for them right here. They're like, why don't you go outside? I said, no, I don't need to go outside. Since you called the police, I will stay right here. Okay. You got to stand your ground. And I'm not telling you stand your ground on every situation, evaluate every situation as it comes to it. But when I said Bain Act violation, the commissioner nodded his head like he understood what I was talking about. And he saw that in the video. So he said, get to the meat and potatoes. He says he wants to see where this flag hit me in the head. So I show the part of the video that definitely showed Denise Fleming holding that flag. And where it struck me, or, the video doesn't necessarily show me being hit in the head. That's where the witnesses would come in. Okay. And my witnesses didn't see me get hit in the head. Okay. And Denise's, and I'm going to say Denise in regards to all three cases, because she was the main talker, as she is. She was saying I was wearing this hat, and I was wearing it backwards. So I guess what she was alluding to was I was already injured and I'm looking for a payday, which I thought was the stupidest defense of what's happening here. But small claims court is, I didn't want to go through 2 years of, going through stuff. I got things to do in life. I'm not doing that. I'm not hurting for money like that. And the only people that make money out of things like that are attorneys. So, the judge sees that it's her holding that flag and whatever. And I said, basically, that's the meat and potatoes of it. It is what it is. I can't remember if the judge said, well, I didn't see that thing strike you. It's not in the video. And it wasn't in the video. But you can see the thing come down and, I'm kind of pausing and stuff. And it's just a whirlwind thing there. Because in small claims, all I need is 51% preponderance of the evidence to win my case. And I knew that. And that's why it was so important that I got that judge to see the video for himself. So I'm done. Put it out. Now it's the other team's turn. This woman went on a campaign to defame my character in the courtroom. The judge was like, I don't care about that. I don't care about that. I don't care about that. He said, Miss Fleming, basically, can you show a video that will show somebody else, and I'm paraphrasing, that will show somebody else holding that flag and Mr. Sadiq being hit by it? Because her defense was she doesn't know how I got hit. And she was inferring that I picked up the flag and hit myself because she caught the flag before it hit the ground. And that wasn't in the video. there's no video of her catching a flag or anything of that nature. And all their evidence is basically what I had. And I was like, go ahead and use that evidence. Please use that evidence. So this woman kept loud talking the judge, the commissioner, kept cutting him off, looking at her like, oh my God, this woman is going to make my case. Because the commissioner basically said, this is a negligence case. And he said it's more likely than not that Miss Fleming, you were the one that caused Mr. Sadiq to get hurt at your event. She wouldn't have it. She pulled out a video of me on one of my shows with my homette, Demetra K, where I'm talking about, and I'm kind of joking about the case, and I say something paraphrasing, it's about the money. It's about the money. I'm going to get paid. It's about the money. It's about the money. It's about the money. Something like that. I don't remember the exact show that was, but it was me. I'm not going to lie. It was me, and I'm joking on it, whatever. And she says, Your Honor, see, it's about money for him. He's in it for the money. He's a money grubber. He's whatever. The commissioner looked at her and said, Miss Fleming, all cases that are in small claims court is about money. Ding, 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 ding. Hello, McFly. Ding, ding, ding. Ding, 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 ding. McFly. All cases in small claims court and in a lot of civil courts is about money and redress. So he said, what's your point? What does this video bring to the table here? But Your Honor, it's about the, it's just a money grab for him. Okay. Correctly so. Duly noted. So he brushes that off. I mean, she throws everything in the wall. Now, the commissioner did say he does not see why Miss Jimson is involved in the case, because in the video, he doesn't see her more likely than not being the person who hurt me. So he basically exonerated her out of the case. So he asked her if there's anything else. I'm just paraphrasing it to bring it to fruition to you guys. But let me tell you something. When you're in court with a judge, you want to keep your answers short and to the point. This woman had to have the last word. She was bringing in stuff that did not matter how old their organization is and what they do in the community, where I was standing, whatever. He was like, this is an assault and battery case. A person was injured. He goes, I need information that will show, other than you, Miss Fleming, who else could possibly have done that. And she couldn't do that. And she identified herself as well. Then he basically asked, is there any other information? She goes, well, we have witnesses. We have 9 witnesses, whatever. He says, I don't care. He basically told us our witnesses don't matter. He doesn't care. He has seen enough evidence, the video, to render a ruling. And that's pretty much how it ended. Now, I didn't know how he was going to rule, but I had a good idea that I had met the 51%, at least that. Now, did I get the $10,000 or the $5,000 or whatever it is? No, I didn't get that. And basically, it didn't matter to me because it really wasn't about the money. It's about holding this particular woman accountable for what she did to me. And now she has a civil judgment against her in regards to assaulting me civilly and having to pay for it. And the judgment came out to about $400. Miss Fleming had to pay about $375. So I think I got a total of $375. Okay, total. Court costs included as well. All right, but I'm going to read this to you guys because I want you guys to understand what she said. Okay, this is her testimony to the court. I'm going to read it for you guys, and I'm going to put it up on my show later on if you guys are really interested in it. This is her declaration. The plaintiff, Donovan Sadiq, has filed 3 claims with the Small Claims Court regarding one incident on March 10th, 2022. The claim is for an alleged assault. It's not alleged. It's on video. I was assaulted. An injury where he tripped over a flagpole due to his being asked to leave the Edgemont Women's Club during a candidate forum because of his disturbance. Upon his arrival, he immediately began setting up video equipment. The club representatives informed him that the candidates had been informed that they would not be videotaped. What does the candidates being informed that they're not going to be videotaped have to do with the public? Anyway, moving on. We will not be videotaped, and the club explained we were not allowing taping in the facility. Note, if you're going to put on an event and you have certain rules like Disneyland or a mall, you've got to post those rules, and people should abide by them. When I went to this event, there were no rules posted, so why would I believe anything that anybody tells me at that point? Again, I know what I know. And I also identified myself as press, as I had a press shirt. And that brings up another thing. Miss Fleming, and you know, it goes to show you how ignorant people are. They watch too many damn movies. She was telling the mediators and the judge that I wasn't real press. I wasn't real press. And they kept asking her, well, what's real press? If we had to go by real press, then there's only 6 organizations nationally that would be considered press. And that isn't what the Constitution says. And the lawyer understood that as well. If I have a shirt that says I'm press and I'm doing things of the press, like recording, I'm press. Everybody is press. Okay? So she says that I tripped over a flagpole due to me being asked to leave the Edgemont Women's Club during a candidate forum. Okay? There would be, we were not allowing taping in the facility. Don't care. You don't have a sign that says that. You weren't asking people to put down their cell phones. So I'm going to do what I got to do because I know what I know. We announced it during advertisement and at the event also. Plaintiff, Donovan Sadiq, immediately refused to stop taping and remove his equipment. You damn skippy. You damn skippy, I did. Now remember, this lady is a so-called doctor. She has a PhD. Her writing is horrendous. Her spelling is horrendous. So I can only imagine how she got her PhD. I can only imagine it. He begins to become loud and state we were violating his Bain Act, and he had the right to do what he wanted as he was a member of the press. I, Denise Fleming, president of the Edgemont Women's Club, explained again that he could not videotape and stood in front of his camera with white paper in an effort to have only the paper on his camera. Notice she said, on my camera. As the commissioner explained to her, my camera is an extension of me. So if you're touching my camera, you are touching me. Plaintiff continued to become verbally abusive to me. He was standing in front of 2 flags. I took the hanging flag portion of the flag and expanded it so as to have his camera videotape the flag. It did not work. So I walked away from the plaintiff. At no time did I touch him or his equipment. Do you see how crazy that is? She just said she had her paper on my camera, but then as I kept reading, she admits at no time did she have her camera on me or my equipment. Insane. After stepping across the door to the registration table, leaving behind the plaintiff, I heard someone say, "Watch the flag." I could see out of my peripheral vision the flag falling to my side. The flag, estimated to be about 8 feet tall, was falling. I caught the flag, I caught the pole of the flag and set it up again. When the flag fell, it crossed the entry door and fell against the registration table where I was standing. If you just caught the flag, how did it fall again? Plaintiff had just moved to squeeze by the door, the registration, and a small area when the shout happened. We had asked plaintiff to move several times and he refused. We told him he was causing a hazard and he replied, I don't care. His camera was set up right by the entry and could easily cause danger to our guest who was abiding by the rules that were not posted. Plaintiff continued to verbally attack me, stating he was appalled that me as a veteran would not allow him to videotape, that is why he ran me out of town, and other eccentrics. If you are trying to block my camera, why aren't you walking away from me so that I don't verbally abuse you? The woman is insane here, you guys. I personally tripped over his tripod several times in his presence. I'm recording the whole time, and not once in the videos do you ever see her trip. Our security asked him to leave, which is her husband, a 73-year-old man who doesn't seem like he's all there. He has a Joe Biden-esque attitude. He walks very slow, and I'm not trying to downplay the man. He would be the equivalent of my father's age. I'm 52. I just turned 52. My father would be this year 73 years old. 73. And I believe Mr. Fleming is 73 years old. What is a 73-year-old man going to do against a 52-year-old man that is old enough to be his son? I'm a bit stronger, a bit faster. It would be the same thing as me as a 52-year-old man. What am I going to do against a 25-year-old guy? I could possibly hold my own, but let's be realistic. The younger, they're stronger. That's all there is to it. Our security asked him to leave. He refused, and that's not true. Me and this dude don't even have a conversation. The guy could barely speak. My understanding is he recently had a stroke, I believe, or some kind of health issue. So the man barely speaks. So the thing is just full of lies. He continued to become belligerent. She says by belligerent. We called the police. Officer Martinez arrived. Plaintiff continued to argue with the police. Never did I argue with the police. I just put them in the place and had them understand what their oath to the Constitution is and what comes first. They are law enforcement officials. They are not feelings enforcement. We called the police. He arrived. The plaintiff continued to argue with the police. They asked plaintiff to leave several times. Yes, the police did ask me to leave several times. I believe 4 times they asked me to leave. And I also told them, if you can ask me to leave. And I said no. Asking me is not the same as ordering me or trespassing me. Just because the cops ask you to leave doesn't mean they have a right to do that. I'm on public property. And even though a lot of police don't know law, if you know what you know about law, you stand your ground. And I did. And I won. They asked plaintiff to leave several times and asked if I wanted to do a citizen's arrest or could he return to the candidate form. Number one, policemen are not supposed to solicit trespassing or asking people if they want an arrest. If there was something arrestable that the police see that I'm doing, they would have to do it. They would have to do it. If there was something that I was doing, then they would have to do it. Just because I broke their rules isn't justification for a citizen's arrest. Totally ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. Again, stop watching these TV shows, these cop shows, and these drama shows that don't deal in how law actually works. I explained to plaintiff. Okay, now I want you guys to listen to this. We asked the plaintiff to leave several times and asked if I wanted to do a citizen's arrest. Could he return to the candidate form? So obviously the police are saying there's nothing that they can do. So they said, well, hey, can this guy return? And according to her, I'm doing all this disruption and stuff. And just being this animal at this event. And I explained the plaintiff could return. This is her words. I could return. to the candidate form if I agreed not to videotape. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that. Actually, if I wanted to go back in because it was a public event, the police would have escorted me back in to protect my rights. That's why they were sitting there. One of the last things the police officer Martinez said was, if you decide to go back in there, we are just here to keep the peace. Simple as that. To keep the peace. So if I go back in there, recording and everything, because they can't stop me from recording, they're there to protect me. They're there to protect me and protect my rights. And I did not want to do a citizen's arrest. Citizen's arrest based on what? A cop cannot arrest me for breaking your rules. Just like at Disneyland. Disneyland security will do what they do, and then they will trespass you. You can give me a legal trespass, but unfortunately, that's the property that we were on was public, so they couldn't even do that. They asked the plaintiff for his press credentials, and he showed them his T-shirt, and that had the words press. The officer stated you should have credentials. Nowhere in the United States, people, there's no place in the United States where you go to get press credentials. A lot of people believe that there's some magical place you go. So let me break it down for you guys. If you work at a certain organization, let's say you work at, I don't know, Time Warner. No. Let's say you work at City Hall, okay? And they give you a badge. Okay, that badge identifies you as an employee and it identifies that you work at City Hall, okay? That's all it does. Press credentials, anybody could make up press credentials because everybody's press in the United States. So after this event, I made myself my own beautiful press credentials. It's a stick man that kind of looks like me because I'm a kind of skinny guy and I'm bald and stuff. So it was a perfect likeness. So now I have my own handmade press credentials. They asked the plaintiff his press credentials. He showed his police and it said press. The officer stated you should have credentials. Anyone can have a T-shirt. See, but that goes to show you how many officers don't know the law, much less the basic tenets of constitutional law. They don't know the elements of the Constitution. So again, I know what I know. They know what they know. He begins to tell them he had a blog. Wow, if I tell you I have a blog, that would make me press. That would even bolster more so that I'm press. At no time did plaintiff complain of an injury to the police. Police had him leave the premises. The police did not have me leave the premises at all. The next day on Facebook, plaintiff publicly accused me, LaDonna Jimson, and Edgemont Women's Club of assault and battery. For the next 2 days, publicly on Facebook, he made verbal allegations against our community club, causing us to lose potential new members. He stated he would be suing me, which I did, the club, and LaDonna Jimson. Very true. Everything in that statement there, I did. Very true. You damn Skippy, I did. He continued to say on video that he would be going to the VA emergency room, which I did, and tell them of the battery and assault, which I did. He also claimed many lawyers called him to take his case, and they did. Plaintiff had on a baseball cap backwards throughout his time at the candidate forum. This is Denise Fleming, I never seen the flagpole hit the plaintiff. Fine, but it's more likely than not your negligence caused the flagpole to hit me. And that's why I won the case. No one ever touched or attempted to touch plaintiff, but yet in her statement, she said that she used paper to block my camera. Plaintiff was asked to leave and not cause harm to himself or guests many times. Plaintiff refused to leave a dangerous area, and when no one was looking, suddenly our flagpole fell and he claimed it hit him. The pole is very light with a heavy base, and they brought the flagpole to the court case, and they were like, no, you can't bring that in here. The pole could not just have fallen without assistance. Exactly. It needed assistance. The only person in the area at the time was plaintiff. Oh, and you forgot yourself, Denise Fleming, who was on me like a gorilla. like a freaking gorilla. So, in conclusion, I found out I won the case. And I want to tell you guys that stand up for your rights. And this woman could not accept the outcome. She is something, I would say, in my own words, is mentally wrong with this woman. She alleges that there's something mentally wrong with me because she brought up I have leukemia. What does me having leukemia have to do with me being assaulted at your event? She alleges that I have mental issues or problems or something like that. I don't know where she was going with all that stuff. I don't know. And the judge basically saw right through it. I didn't think my injuries amounted to tens of thousands of dollars, which it would have if I had gone to a regular civil case, because as you know, those attorneys will make you go to doctors, get a second opinion, and then as all this stuff is adding up, that's why I took it to small claims. And just give me some punitive damages. I was hurt at your event. I just want punitive damages, period. Somebody has to pay. And this woman could not accept the fact that she is being held responsible for what happened to me. Point blank, period. And her threat of countersuing me, I welcome. Please countersue me on something. I don't know what I did. From her own admission, she and I have only spoke to each other 3 times in life. 3 times. And I think the 3rd time would be at the court thing yesterday. COVID went on for 2 years. How am I harassing somebody when I'm talking about what happened to me and I actually know who assaulted me? And guess what? This court verdict vindicates everything that I said. It vindicates me. It is more likely than not Denise Fleming assaulted me. And I incurred injuries because of her negligence. That's correct. The judge didn't want to see the police report. He didn't want to hear from the witnesses. And I really feel bad for the witnesses because, time is money and people are, I'm not saying people are desperate, but, people have work or they have better things that they can do. I don't know what her 10 witnesses were going to attest to if it didn't match what I had on video. I don't know what they were going to attest to. That's why I didn't need a lot of witnesses. Even my main witness, Fred, I already had his testimony from the night of the incident. So technically, I didn't really even need him to be there, but I was glad that he was there. And let this be a lesson to all you bloggers out there and people that do stuff in the community. Please protect yourselves in the regards of have a shirt that says press or have press credentials. Make up some press credentials for yourself so that you can you don't have to do it. You don't have to because the Constitution says you don't. But now when I go to events, and even when I went to this event, and I've gone to their events before, I always wore a press shirt so that there's no doubt why I'm there. I'm there to cover the event. And everybody in my community pretty much knows, not everybody, I can't say that, but people know in the community what I do. And, by having that, it disarms a lot of people. It disarms the police. Because at the end of the day, the police were weaponized against me. And let me tell you, those police officers came in with a riot gun hot and ready because I believe he had said the dispatch had told them that there was a riot going on at the event, which was not true. Now, am I a riot when I'm out having a good time? Yes, Donovan Sadiq is a riot. There's no doubt about that. I know how to have a good time. Ask the people in South Africa, Johannesburg, when I was down there. Drinks on me everywhere we go. But basically, if you guys do not believe, I'm going to be putting a lot of this stuff up. If you guys don't believe what went down, California Penal Code Section 240, which is assault, and it didn't reach the level of criminality because I filed a criminal report for the simple fact that Miss Fleming didn't intentionally mean to hurt me. It was her negligence and it was an accident. But if it wasn't for that, she would have been arrested for 240 and 242, which is battery. So on the criminal level. But civilly, this is what the case was about. 240, 242. I was battered and assaulted at the event. And let me read this to you guys. This is Article 1 of the Constitution. Amendment 1. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or the right of the people to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for redress. That means we are all press. We all have the right to decimate information that our neighbors might need to make decisions or do things about. Another thing is this, the Edgemont Community Center, which is where this event was held. The Edgemont Women's Club is a tenant of the community center. That is a publicly owned entity of the Edgemont Services District per their attorney. Now, I would love to spike the ball and do all of those things, but that isn't what I'm going to do. I just think it's a very, very sad situation that this is not over because Ms. Fleming has filed a civil harassment suit against me, and my lawyer and other people have said that that was an attempt to where she made her mistake. Like I said, this lady supposedly has a PhD. I took law, and like I said, I took politics. Everybody knows I'm a history person, so I'm not saying I'm a lawyer, but I'm really good. I'm really good at retaining things in my head and history and all that other stuff like that. And I did take law in college. I took civil law, aviation law, so it kind of worked hand in hand. When you mark that you are involved in a civil case in your attempt to get a TRO, which is a temporary restraining order, 9 times out of 10, the judge is going to deny it because it's obvious that you have an upcoming case and you are trying to muddy the waters a little bit in that upcoming case. So now on the 31st of May, Miss Fleming has to prove to the court why she should get a restraining order against me. With this small claims court going against her to where she has to pay me, good luck. Because you're saying that I'm harassing you, but I just got a judgment against you for assaulting me and battering me in a civil court. Anyway, you guys, I'm Donovan Sadiq, the Inland Empire Informer. You guys check out my Facebook page, the IE Informer. I'm on Twitter as well. I'm going to be doing a video about this a little bit later on. And I'm going to be putting up the documents now that this case is over because I want you guys to see this stuff for yourself. These are the things she wrote, you guys. And if you guys look at the video, my video is on my YouTube page. Go check it out. Total liar. Total liar. I mean, she was in front of that judge lying her ass off. And he saw right through it. He saw right through it. Again, I want to thank the witnesses that showed up. Both sides. You know, we all know each other and stuff. And like I said, I don't know what you guys were going to testify to, but the judge seen what he needed to see, and that was it. And it was a wrap. All right, you guys, be safe out there. I am Donovan Sadiq, the Inland Empire Informer. You have just been informed. Have a great day.